Welcome into the PHNX Cardinals halftime report. I'm Johnny Venerable. He is Bo Brock. He is Saul Bookman. The Arizona Cardinals miraculously have drawn within 4, gentlemen. They take a touchdown on the board with a one-handed catch with DeAndre Hopkins. They just blocked a field goal against Minnesota. And Bo Brock, as bad as the first quarter has been, the Cardinals still haven't scored a touchdown this season. They are right in it. They get the ball at the second half.
Yeah, I mean, it's trading your sheepdog van for a moped, right? It's completely redeeming yourself, Dumb and Dumber style. But that's what DeAndre Hopkins, that's what the defense did for you, getting the stop. They flipped the field a little bit with special teams. So it was all 3 levels of this Cardinals team coming together at the end of this half to put them within striking distance, coming back out of the locker room at halftime. But, I mean, still, you can't help from being frustrated from another slow offensive start. But you did get the 10-play, 72-yard touchdown drive. It was capped off by your playmaker, DeAndre Hopkins. You got to see more of that in the second half. But still, 14-10 after you felt like the Vikings kind of dominated this game, Saul.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. The 2 things I would adjust in the second half. 1, you got to shore up the run defense because they're just gashing you every single play. Number 2, get A.J. Green's old ass out. I don't know why he's in there. I would expect a few more 2 tight end sets in the second half just because the run game needs to get started somehow.
Yeah, DeAndre Hopkins, 5 targets, 5 catches, maybe throw him maybe like 10 passes in the second half, see what happens. Good things happen. They did that against New Orleans last week, and they prospered because of it. You mentioned the run defense, 16 for 134 on the ground for Minnesota. That cannot continue. Kyler Murray using his legs, 3 for 24, has a pass rating of 119. I thought played pretty well, all things considered, Bo Brock. How much does it concern you, this interior of the offensive line? We're seeing Billy Price bust Billy Price today.
Yeah, but also Zadarius Smith is now on the sideline.
Yeah.
I mean, a couple things broke your way. One, like Zadarius Smith, the injury, and then also you've got, as far as the Vikings on offense, have kind of taken themselves out of the game. Like they should be up a lot more than 14-10. Kirk Cousins has missed a bunch of throws. It's very reminiscent of week 2 last year. It felt like all the momentum was going with the Vikings and they couldn't capitalize on it. They let the Cardinals hang around. Now the Cardinals have to take advantage of it. But look, I mean, you can't gloss over the script is trash again. And the best the Arizona Cardinals looked was when they were just getting in rhythm. That last drive of the half for them, Kyler Murray was on. You saw a good run-pass balance. Eno broke a run there. Kyler broke a run. And the offense kind of opened up. But, man, I mean, as far as the interior of the offensive line, I think it's played well enough. You got to expect maybe they can't play any worse than they did in the first half. I was surprised that the pressure was going to come on the inside and not on the outside with DJ Humphries out.
Well, and it's frustrating, too, because on the flip side, Saul, the Cardinals have no sacks for 6 quarters, dating back to last week against New Orleans. They've been close, but, I mean, Kirk Cousins has made plays out of the pocket. That can't continue.
No, it can't continue. I mean, we saw on the first drive how Kirk Cousins all of a sudden looked like Usain Bolt compared to, our edge rusher, not
Marcus
to be named. I wasn't trying to name him. I wasn't trying to put him on blast.
Heal him from that broken toe, I guess.
And then overall, like, again, Kirk Cousins got lucky a couple times. He's also missed a couple opportunities on his own. I don't know what the hell is grounding anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, the defense has every significant disadvantage against a quarterback. You got to give him that. He wasn't even looking where he threw that pass. So that could have cost them 3 points. Yeah. I think in the second half, it feels like the Cardinals have kind of figured out something passing-wise. They got a lot more pressure up front. I'd expect that to continue in the second half.
Get to some of these comments here. Where is Robbie Anderson? Mm-hmm. We're wondering that as well. Robbie's been with the team now for 2 weeks. You would assume that he's got a bigger play package to devolve from, and yet it's A.J. Green playing a bunch of snaps and, of course, getting blanketed by Patrick Peterson. I think second half, it's like this, and we talked about it here at the PHNX studios in downtown Phoenix. The back 7 for Minnesota is old and slow. It's Jordan Hicks. It's Harrison Smith. We saw what DeAndre Hopkins did. Stretch this team vertically. And I know the pass protection hasn't been there, but if they can just get ample time in the pocket, 2 or 3 more seconds, you can burn this Minnesota secondary.
Yeah, you can. Like, you've seen the impact made by DeAndre Hopkins, but what's the impact as far as getting other players open? Is it just a product of Kyler not finding them? Like, you have to assume, guys, like, we've seen too many plays behind the line of scrimmage with Rondale Moore. I like what you said, get it going downfield, get Dortch involved. Don't even pay attention. If P2 and A.J. Green want to play like, hey, let's turn back the clock 5-8 years on each other, that's fine.
Yeah.
But then there's got to be plays to be made over the middle of the field. I want to see more of that, plus DeAndre Hopkins
You
continues
know how
to
you
get more
keep an
involved.
old secondary into the game? You keep playing old receivers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Get
true.
AJ Green out.
Yeah, I was shocked. He barely played last Thursday against the New Orleans Saints, so you'd assume he's not going to play today, but he's out there for damn near, feels like 70% of the offensive plays. I don't know if they're trying to showcase him. We've speculated that he could be a trade potential target for the Green Bay Packers, but where is Robbie Anderson? Where is Greg Dortch down the field? I do think that Kliff Kingsbury behind closed doors would tell you that they have been hampered by the interior offensive line because I'll even admit there have been some plays, some screens that one to Darrell Williams in particular. If Billy Price can just block his man for a half second more, that's a big gain.
Yeah.
But I think you put the cute shit aside to begin the second half and you feed 10. You go to 10 until it doesn't work anymore. Even when he's net catching passes, Bo, the pass interference plays, he free ups other receivers.
Yeah.
There's just, it's something clicked on that last drive. It's like, oh yeah, we have one of the best receivers in football.
But you have to play with that urgency. It's like this Cardinals, especially their coaching staff, has to be pounded on the head over and over where you have to play to your strengths instead of trying to get too damn cute. You're down 14-10. You're still trailing. You need to play like you're down two scores. Like that's the only thing that seems to wake them up. That's the only time they seem to play better. Like I don't want to see them come out of the locker room again, kind of like they did last week against New Orleans, where they had all the momentum and then they pull the shoot. Like you don't want to see that. You got to see them play with a little sense of urgency, play their strengths. You know, ride D-Hop, ride Eno Benjamin, some of the hotter hands.
It feels like Kirk Cousins is close to turning the ball over. Like a couple different times, his passes haven't been on the mark. I think Kyler Murray's done a better job throwing the football. But it's just been, you have to shore up the run defense. How do they do that? Do they bring a box safety down? What would you do defensively here?
I mean, honestly, the way the front four was starting to finish off plays in that first half, I would probably test that out to start the second half, probably for the first part of the third quarter. See if you can continue to get that kind of pressure, because if you can, then your back seven can play in coverage and it'll be a little bit easier. I wouldn't drop the safety yet. I don't think it's necessary. But you're close. You're close, because if Kirk Cousins starts connecting on those plays that he's been overthrowing, then you're in trouble. But it could go the other way as well. He starts sailing some more passes, especially with pressure on him. I'm telling you, you could tell because of that last that non-grounding call that should have been a grounding call, that Kirk is a little rattled. Because he's just throwing shit like this. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? That should have been a pass or should have been grounding. So I expect Kirk to make a mistake in the second half.
I would say, Byron Murphy, we're going to pay you a premium in the offseason. I need you to D up 1-on-1 Justin Jefferson, Marco Wilson, Antonio Hamilton. I am bringing run defense help, because when they've gone to Dalvin Cook, and I'll pull up the statistic here, 9 for 80, 9 yards per carry on the ground. That cannot continue, because when you've gotten Kirk in third and long, he hasn't been able to convert.
Yeah, but if you were able to go put points up on the opening drive here, it will change the complexion of the game and what the Vikings feel like they need to do offensively. But you know, be careful. I mean, it might have been just how you drew it up. 37 yards from Justin Jefferson. You don't want to get too big in your britches here and then start to bring some safeties up, and then good old number 18 making a big play against you.
It's just so demoralizing, because we've seen it, what opposing teams are able to do on the ground against the Cardinals. Let's see if they can shore it up in the second half. Historically, gentlemen, Vance Joseph, you take out New Orleans last week, has been much better in the second half, making adjustments. Let's see if he can do the same. Let's see if Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins can keep it going in the second half. Reminder, we'll be back post-game show immediately following the conclusion of Cardinals at Vikings. For Bo Brock, Saul Bookman, I'm Johnny Venerable. We'll see you after the game.